For half a century, Intel Corporation reigned supreme in the semiconductor world, its processors the undisputed heart of personal computing. From the 1980s through the early 2010s, Intel's name was synonymous with technological leadership and innovation. However, a series of strategic miscalculations and manufacturing stumbles saw this once unassailable giant begin to falter. This is the story of how Intel, the very company that defined the computing era, found itself struggling to catch up to competitors like TSMC, AMD, and Nvidia, losing its grip on the global chip market. We investigate the key decisions and missed opportunities that led to its decline. Intel's ascendancy began with its x86 architecture, which became the standard for personal computers. By the late 1990s, Intel commanded a near monopoly, with its Pentium processors powering an estimated 80% of all PCs sold globally, according to market research firm IDC. This overwhelming market share translated into immense profits and R&D capabilities, allowing Intel to outpace rivals in both performance and manufacturing. Its brand was a household name, a symbol of cutting-edge technology and reliability, driving an era of unprecedented growth in computing infrastructure worldwide. A cornerstone of Intel's early success was its tick-tock development model, as explained by former CEO Paul Otellini. This strategy involved alternating between a tick, a new manufacturing process bringing smaller, more efficient transistors, and a tock, a new microarchitecture utilizing the existing process. This disciplined two-year cycle ensured continuous innovation. For example, the 2007 tick introduced the 45nm process, followed by the 2008 tock with the Nehalem microarchitecture. This relentless pace allowed Intel to consistently deliver performance gains, solidifying its technological lead over competitors for well over a decade. As smartphones emerged in the late 2000s, Intel made a critical misjudgment. Analyst reports from the time suggest Intel leadership, accustomed to high-margin PC and server markets, underestimated the long-term potential of mobile. Former Intel CEO Brian Krzanich later admitted, "We missed the boat on mobile." While competitors like ARM focused on low-power, high-efficiency designs crucial for battery-dependent devices, Intel prioritized raw performance, believing its x86 architecture could scale down. This strategic oversight meant Intel simply wasn't prepared for the explosion of the smartphone market, leaving a gaping void for others to fill. Perhaps the most telling missed opportunity was with Apple's original iPhone. According to industry insiders and reports from the time, Apple initially approached Intel to develop the chip for its groundbreaking device. However, Intel reportedly dismissed the proposal, believing the power and performance requirements were too low margin compared to its lucrative PC chips. This decision paved the way for ARM-based processors, manufactured by third-party foundries, to dominate the mobile landscape. Analysts at Goldman Sachs later calculated that this single misstep potentially cost Intel tens of billions in market value and future revenue, as the mobile market exploded. While Intel clung to its high-performance x86 architecture, ARM Holdings championed a different approach. Its reduced instruction set computer (RISC) architecture was inherently more power efficient than Intel's complex instruction set computer (CISC) design. This translated directly into longer battery life, a critical factor for mobile devices. Furthermore, ARM's licensing model, allowing various companies to design and manufacture their own ARM-based chips, fostered a vast ecosystem of innovation. This open model contrasted sharply with Intel's integrated device manufacturer (IDM) approach, which kept chip design and manufacturing in-house, limiting its reach in the burgeoning mobile sector. Intel's once unbeatable manufacturing edge began to crumble with its 10nm process node. Originally slated for mass production in 2016, the node faced repeated, prolonged delays. Industry reports cited issues with yield rates and complexity, pushing its full rollout to 2019, nearly 3 years behind schedule. This delay had a cascading effect, pushing back subsequent nodes like 7nm. While TSMC and Samsung moved rapidly from 16nm to 7nm and even 5nm, Intel struggled. Analysts at Tech Insights noted this marked the first time Intel had fallen significantly behind competitors in process technology, a critical blow to its tick-tock reputation. The manufacturing delays translated directly into significant financial setbacks and market share erosion. According to financial reports from Intel, the repeated delays in 10 nanometers and 7 nanometers processes forced them to continue manufacturing on older, less efficient nodes, impacting profit margins and performance competitiveness. Data from Mercury Research indicated Intel's desktop CPU market share, once over 90%, dipped below 70% by 2020. This decline was further exacerbated in the server market, where Intel's dominance began to be challenged by AMD. The cost of delays wasn't just in lost revenue but in a damaged reputation for innovation and reliability. While Intel grappled with its manufacturing woes, Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company, TSMC, seized the opportunity. Operating as a pure-play foundry, TSMC avoided the complexities of chip design, focusing solely on advanced manufacturing. Their relentless investment in R&D and state-of-the-art facilities allowed them to pull ahead, achieving volume production of 7 nanometers chips by 2018 and 5 nanometers by 2020. This timeline put them years ahead of Intel. As reported by TrendForce, TSMC's market share in advanced foundry processes skyrocketed, becoming the preferred manufacturer for virtually every major chip designer, including AMD, Nvidia, and Apple. Intel's competitor, AMD, famously leveraged TSMC's advanced manufacturing to stage a remarkable comeback. After years of struggling against Intel, AMD introduced its Zen architecture in 2017. Designed by industry veteran Jim Keller, Zen processors, manufactured on TSMC's leading-edge nodes, offered competitive performance, multi-core advantages, and aggressive pricing. According to Passmark benchmarks, AMD's market share in desktop CPUs surged from a mere 17.5% in Q1 2017 to over 30% by Q4 2020. This resurgence broke Intel's long-standing monopoly in the consumer CPU market, forcing Intel to rethink its product strategy and pricing. Beyond traditional CPUs, the computing landscape also saw the meteoric rise of graphics processing units, GPUs, largely spearheaded by Nvidia. While Intel focused on general-purpose computing, Nvidia strategically invested in GPUs, recognizing their parallel processing power for graphics, and critically, for artificial intelligence in data centers. Their CUDA platform, launched in 2006, solidified their lead, creating a proprietary ecosystem for developers. By 2022, analyst firm John Petty Research estimated Nvidia held over 80% of the discrete GPU market. This strategic focus allowed Nvidia to become a dominant player in the fastest-growing segments of computing, largely untouched by Intel's core CPU business. In a move that reverberated throughout the industry, Apple announced in 2020 its decision to transition its Mac computers from Intel x86 processors to its own custom-designed, ARM-based silicon, starting with the M1 chip. This was a direct consequence of Intel's stagnating performance gains and manufacturing delays. Apple CEO Tim Cook framed the move as a natural progression, stating, "It's a huge day for the Mac." This pivot validated the power efficiency and performance capabilities of ARM architecture, even in high-performance computing, fundamentally challenging Intel's long-held belief that x86 was superior for desktop and laptop tasks. It marked a significant loss of a key, high-profile client. The performance of Apple's M1 chips stunned the industry, demonstrating that ARM could not only compete but often surpass Intel's offerings in critical metrics like performance per watt. Benchmark tests from outlets like AnandTech showed the M1 delivering up to double the CPU performance per watt compared to Intel's contemporary chips. This success spurred other companies, including Qualcomm and Microsoft, to double down on ARM-based solutions for Windows PCs. The move by a major player like Apple, and the subsequent praise for M1's efficiency, further weakened Intel's narrative of x86 superiority and accelerated a broader industry shift towards custom silicon and specialized architectures. In 2021, Intel brought back Pat Gelsinger as CEO, a veteran with deep roots in the company's engineering past. Gelsinger unveiled IDM 2.0, a bold strategy to regain leadership. This plan involves three key elements: continuing to build most of Intel's products in-house, expanding the use of third-party foundries like TSMC for specific products, and critically, establishing Intel Foundry Services, IFS, to become a major provider of foundry capacity for external customers. The ambition is clear. Intel aims not only to catch up but to compete directly with TSMC in advanced manufacturing by 2025, a monumental undertaking that requires significant capital and flawless execution. Intel's comeback efforts are bolstered by significant geopolitical tailwinds, particularly the U.S. CHIPS and Science Act. Passed in 2022, this act allocates over $52 billion in subsidies for domestic semiconductor manufacturing and research. Intel, with its plans for new fabs in Ohio and Arizona, stands to be a major beneficiary. The U.S. government views reshoring chip manufacturing as a national security imperative, aiming to reduce reliance on Asian suppliers. This governmental support provides a crucial financial injection and strategic advantage, but it also underscores the immense scale of investment required to compete with established giants like TSMC. To regain its manufacturing prowess, Intel needs to execute flawlessly on its aggressive roadmap, dubbed 4 nodes in 5 years. This includes Intel 7, equivalent to 10 nanometers enhanced superfin, Intel 4, equivalent to 7 nanometers, Intel 3, and Intel 28, aiming for 2 nanometers equivalent. While Intel announced it achieved parity with TSMC's 7 nanometers, now Intel 4, by 2023, the real challenge lies in catching up to TSMC's 3 nanometers and future 2 nanometers nodes, which are already in production or advanced development. Analyst firm Gartner indicates that maintaining this aggressive schedule, especially for Intel 28 with new ribbon FET and PowerVia technologies, will be Intel's most significant hurdle. The question remains, can Intel truly reclaim its former glory? Industry experts are divided. Some, like CEO Pat Gelsinger, express confidence in Intel's ability to innovate and execute, citing its deep engineering talent and substantial investments. Others, including analysts at More Insights and Strategy, caution that the lead built by TSMC, AMD, and Nvidia in their respective niches is formidable. Intel faces an uphill battle not just in manufacturing, but in convincing major customers to trust its foundry services and in competing with specialized architectures optimized for AI and mobile. The path to resurgence is long, arduous, and far from guaranteed. Intel's journey from an undisputed leader to a contender highlights critical lessons in business strategy, the peril of underestimating new markets, the cost of manufacturing stagnation, and the relentless pace of technological disruption. While Intel's golden era may be over, its future is still being written. The coming years will determine if Pat Gelsinger's ambitious IDM 2.0 strategy and the support of global governments can reverse decades of decline. It is a defining moment for a company that once defined computing itself, as it fights to secure its place in the fiercely competitive semiconductor landscape of tomorrow.